muckers, and happy new year. So we have a lot of debriefing to do. Where in the world am I? I am in New York. This is actually my final day in New York. I came back to New York for New Year's Eve, which is something that I think the last time we spoke, I was debating whether or not I was gonna do. So a lot has happened, and let me just first of all say that the start of this year has not been great. Am I feeling positive for the year? Well, sure, but it has not been a great start, and I want to dive into everything. I just fully detached, really, the last week. I came out to New York for, New Year's Eve, and really after New Year's Eve, things started swiftly going downhill, which I guess we'll talk about, and let's figure everything out. But what I am saying is to be positive. I am going to be starting my new year from Monday tomorrow. Is that the 6th of January? Yes. Am I going to be kicking off my New Year's really then and pretending that the last week did not happen and doesn't count as the start of my year? Yes. And there's nothing you can say. So first of all, I'm doing my skincare and we're going to talk. I'm going in first of all with the Be Plain toner. I love this stuff. I find a lot of really good products over the last couple months that have really worked for my skin. And this is such a drying time and such a trying time too. This is such a drying time for my skin. So I've really just been locking in as much moisture as possible. So I go in with that and I bring it down to my neck. And then I go in immediately with the Be Plain moisturizer, which is this one right here. Now, I love this because it's kind of like a gel rather than any other moisturizer I've ever done before. So I really like it, and it is so moisturous. So I put this in, and normally in the past, I would have stopped there. But again, my skin has been really dry recently. I also get it on my eyelids because I've started putting makeup on my eyelids. So I want them to be as hydrated as possible, otherwise they start to look incredibly flaky. So bringing that down to my neck as well. Now, what we're going to do now is I have this Tatcha, the Dewy Serum. This is great. It locks in that moisture. You just do a couple pumps of it like that. And I love Tatcha, the water cream, Tatcha, the Dewy night cream. They're a little bit more on the expensive side, so I never really have them around. But I picked some up on this trip, and my skin has definitely been very grateful for it. So I put this in, and again, it's just incredibly hydrating. I love it. Okay, so let's just cut the BS and start talking about the year and what has happened. First of all, this is my first video of 2025. This is Tatcha the Water Cream. It's my first video of 2025. I hope we're all doing okay. I hope we're all kicking off the year fine. And I don't want my bad vibes in this video to reflect how I feel about the upcoming year, because I feel incredibly positive, but life happens and life comes at you very quick. And it seems that everything is kind of coming crashing down for me right now, if I'm being completely honest. So I arrive on the 30th of January. I have a great Christmas at home with my family, and it was great seeing my brothers. I hope you all had a great Christmas if you were celebrating, or just that time period. I know it's a very slow time for the world, so I hope people were resting and blah, 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 blah. And even if you were celebrating alone or just not celebrating, I hope you were having a good day and all the rest. So Christmas went really well, and I was in a little bit of a dilemma because there was a lot of things starting to happen in Brighton that I kind of didn't want to be involved with. There was a lot of drama happening, and also the last couple years for New Year's that I've been in Brighton, I've had really bad New Year's, and I don't know what it is, but it's always New Year's Eve, New Year's Day in Brighton. Ever since I moved to Brighton, something will go wrong on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. And so last year was a big one, and I've talked about it a lot, so we don't need to get into it again. But I was a lot of my friends are fighting right now. There's a lot of drama going on. There's a lot of bad shit happening in Brighton as well right now that I don't want to talk about. And I was like, a lot of my friends are, fully in relationships, so they are, doing their own things on New Year's, so therefore I would be on my own for New Year's, which is fine. I mean, they can do their own thing and celebrate. So I was like, okay. And then whenever I was out in New York in December, for like the Mariah concerts and stuff, I ended up meeting like a bunch of people, and I started going on dates. Well, dates very loosely, but I just mean in terms of like hanging out with people and blah, 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 right? And there were two that went really well. And one of the guys, I didn't see this trip. I was supposed to see him this trip, but so many things were going on in my life that I couldn't meet up with him. But then one of the other guys was kind of like a mutual friend, and we hit it off, and I was like, are you going to be here New Year's? And he was like, well, if you come out New Year's, I'm going to go out New Year's. I never normally come to the city because he lives a little bit, outside of the city. But he was like, if you come, I'll come. And then I was like, well, yes, I'll get to hang out with my friends in the city, over the last couple days, and I'll get to have a New Year's kiss, and I'll also just be able to be with a friend group where there's not a lot of shit going down and stuff like that. And it just seemed, and I've always dreamt of being in New York for, I was going to say Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. I'm putting on the Rare Beauty Pore Diffusing Primer. I was like, it's always been a dream of mine to be in New York on New Year's Eve. I am planning on moving to New York this year. So I was like, what perfect excuse, to bring in the year in New York whenever I'm planning on moving here. So, everything, it just felt like making new memories and stuff, right? And so anyways, I love this primer because my face is so hydrated, and then it kind of has like this like tackiness to it that like gets rid of all of the like really oiliness, but I still feel super hydrated. I love it. Love you, Selena Gomez. So I come out, and New Year's Eve was incredible. I had a really good New Year's, and I finally got my New Year's kiss. Yippee! Never had one before. Yippee, 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 yippee. I'm like, holy shit. We have broken the New Year's Eve curse. The New Year's Eve curse, I'm gonna get some water. The New Year's Eve curse is done. You know what I mean? And I went to bed very happy that night. I got back to the hotel at like 4 a.m. or something like that. Like I was like quite late. They went home. I go to bed at like 4, and I'm woken up merely a couple hours later with a call from my brother. A call from my brother, Josh. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, why is Josh calling me right now? Because, like, he knows that there's a different time zone. So, like, why would he be, like, leave me alone? So, I see it and, like, cancel out the call to not answer it. And then he calls me back again. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, again, I don't answer the call, but I now look at my phone. And my heart has never dropped as much. There were missed calls from my mom, missed calls from my brother Josh, missed calls from my brother Sean, messages from my mom being like, Adam, this is urgent. You've got to wake up. You've got to wake up. You've got to wake up. Messages from my other brother being like, Adam, this is really bad. You've got to wake up right now. My mom being like, Adam, immediately wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Text me when you wake up, text me. And I'm like, uh-oh, something really bad has happened. And now, I just need you to know that I got really drunk on New Year's Eve, as I should. And so I've had maybe a couple hours of sleep before all these calls. Oh, sorry, I'm using the Rare Beauty Under Eye Brightener, something in shade light. So I'm like, something really bad has happened. And again, I'm like not in a great state because I haven't had much sleep and the hangover is hitting. So anyways, I call my brother back. And again, not really knowing what to expect, but my mind has went to the fact that like someone has died. Because I'm like, why would they all be waking me up right now? Someone has died. My thought process, I went through a tier list of people while that call was connecting because obviously I'm international right now. which means that when I call my brothers on their, Irish phone, there's about a minute of connecting time. So within that minute of connecting time, my mind is pacing, being like, what has happened? My immediate thought was something has happened with Bonnie and Dolly. Because I don't know why. I was just like the urgency of everyone, and I was like, for me, I've been in such denial that like someone in my life, like a person, would ever die. Because even over December, I was making videos being like, I'm so incredibly lucky that I haven't had a major death in the family yet. And it's crazy to me, knowing that like my grandparents are getting super sick and super ill, and knowing that one day they won't be here. But I always was in denial because I was like, oh, well, they haven't died yet, so they're not going to die. Which is such stupid logic. But I just couldn't imagine my life without any of my grandparents, so it was never a possibility in my mind. Like, my mind didn't go to there. My mind went to something has happened with Bonnie and Dolly. Now, I didn't think that they had died or something happened like that, but I thought that, like, maybe, Bonnie had a seizure or something like that. Like, she's a little bit problematic when it comes to health. And so then the phone connects, and I can tell by my brother's tone that it's a person. And then my mind immediately goes to my Nana, because I said in a YouTube video even only a couple of weeks ago that my Nana was taken into hospital. My Nana is, a woman of a certain age, and she is the skinniest woman you will ever see in your entire life. Like, that is a frail woman. And any little health setback, really affects her. And so over the Christmas period, I really was only able to see her once because she can barely talk because she's coughing so much. And she's just so sick and so drained, and then throwing up on the medication that she's on, and, she's not doing well. So my thought was like, holy fuck, my brother is about to tell me that Nana has died. And then he goes, Adam, Granny Anna has died, who is my dad's mum. And I'm gonna be honest, it was even more shocking than anything else I could have been told, because yeah, she was sick, and but she was sick as in like of someone her age. Like, I was so caught up in the fact that like my Nana, my mom's mom, has been taken into hospital and blah blah blah, that like I was like, oh my god, unpredictable things can happen, that I'm so focused on this that can happen. And it was really, really, really shocking. I was not expecting it at all. I truthfully, I was not expecting that to be told to me. And honestly, out of all of my grandparents, I'm like that diva was like the indestructible one. Like, God bless her, like my Granny Anna, like she was a true diva at her best. And I don't know, I just never expected her to die. Like, that's so stupid, you know what I mean? Because I don't know. So I was really in denial, and then obviously I just stayed up that entire day, like texting with my family. Obviously there's a time difference, so they were all at the house, where everything happened. And, I think what I've really been struggling with over the last couple days is the fact that, I'm trying not to get sad talking about all this, because I know that it is just a part of life, and it's just the first time I'm really dealing with it. But obviously I'm mourning the loss of my granny. But what I am mourning the most is that my dad has lost his mom. Like, that to me makes, that to me has been the thing that has really been hitting me on this trip. Because I love my dad so much, and, he's lost his mom. I poked my eye. Ow. Um, I didn't know how I was gonna respond when I lost a grandparent, but it turns out that I'm so sad to have lost my granny, but I'm more devastated for my dad losing his mum. And that doesn't take away from the fact that I'm mourning myself in terms of my granny, but he's lost his mum. And he is just going through it right now, as you would imagine. And it's hard. I have had this trip scheduled, way before this, and even if I wanted to, I would not have been able to get back in time for anything. Irish people move quick, let me tell you that. So by the time my original New York trip, so basically, I was supposed to be leaving New York tomorrow like night-ish, right? And going back to London. So that was into London. So let's just a little comparison of how quick the Irish move. By the time I would have landed in London, her funeral will have already happened. Those bitches move quick in Ireland. So there is no way that I was able to even get back for her funeral, which is happening tomorrow. And the guilt that I feel, ooh, again, I feel incredibly guilty knowing that my dad doesn't have me there for the funeral. And again, that's my granny's funeral. I want to be there on that basis, but that's been something that has been really hard. And while I'm sure he would never say if he was upset with me, I hope, one day he would be able to forgive me for that. And there's other grandkids as well that are in America right now as well, and all of us aren't able to get back. So a lot of us aren't able to go to this funeral, actually. And again, it was a very unexpected thing that happened. So I feel bad for saying it's been a hard couple days because, my family are really the ones that are going through it and dealing with everything, and God bless my brother. Let me put my fucking blush on. I need to hurry the fuck up. God bless my brother, Josh. He has been dealing with everything, over the last couple days. I got these new Rare Beauty shades, by the way. This one is like a blush, it's like a melting blush. I'm intrigued as to when I'll use that. This one's pretty. I might use that one, actually. Should I? Yeah, God bless my brother Josh. He's holding down fort. He is at home with my parents, and, he's being the brother that's there. My other brother, Sean, isn't able to make it. He's in Belfast working. It's very hard to have everyone together for things like this as much as you would want them to. God, that looks so intense. So yeah, he's really been doing everything. So I know he's exhausted, and I know my mom's exhausted, and I know my dad's exhausted. Again, Irish people move quick, and the wake has been happening, the funeral's been happening, and it's just exhausting for them, and it's exhausting knowing I'm not able to help them, and it's just been a very, very, very somber start of the year, if I'm being completely honest. And I'm also just devastated that, now this time of year has this connotation for my dad. That's also something really hard. And then I've been doing a lot of, fucking thinking, and it's inevitably you will experience something in your life that'll happen on a Halloween, on your birthday, on Christmas, on New Year's. You know what I mean? There's too many people in your life and too many things that will eventually go wrong. There's only one way out of here. And so anyways, I've really been dealing with the last couple days, horrendous nightmares, if I'm being completely honest with you. I've really not been sleeping well. On this trip, got the Kourtney Kardashian, let me sleeps and stuff. This isn't sponsored or anything. And they really worked the first couple days of the trip. But then I've started having raging nightmares, and there's nothing that can make me sleep through them. I just have to keep myself awake all night. So I've just been having incredibly scary nightmares of like, it's interesting. I'll be like sleeping, but then like I'll wake up, but I'm still sleeping, and it'll be my brother calling me and me not answering, him calling me not answering, and then I see the text and I call and it's another person has died. Like, I literally have relived that day, like every day, multiple times in a dream, and it'll be being told that this person died, this person died, this person died, this person died, and it's crazy. It's been so horrible, and yeah, whatever, life happens, but yeah, so anyways, that's been one thing that happened at the start of the year, and now, back in Brighton, which is the Rare Beauty setting spray. Oh God, got my mouth. Back in Brighton, there's a lot of things not going great right now for the people I love, and there's a lot of mess going on, and a lot of people are going through it, and I will never be the one to spread other people's business. Well, that's not true, actually. I mean, my friend's business. Just a lot of people in my life right now are really going through some really awful things. And there's just a really somber vibe over everyone in my life right now. And there's also just been a really stressful situation that I will be able to talk about very soon. I hate to be that person. That's been going on in my life that I also found out about literally like an hour or so after I found out about my granny dying. So there's just been a lot going on and going wrong at the start of the year, and we've got to push through. We've got to, again, life happens. All of this shit is unavoidable and whatever. I'm gonna put on some, actually, I'm gonna put this Olaplex oil on. Yeah, so if I'm being honest, I took a week off, and I was considering, honestly, like, not uploading for a month, but because I'm just really feeling kind of fatigued right now, like emotionally fatigued, but I can't do that. That's not realistic. To take any longer than what I'm taking off right now. And honestly, I'm excited to be back and like posting and stuff like that. And like the shows are happening like really soon, so I really can't afford to be like not posting right now. But anyways, that's all that's been going on. I'm literally telling myself that tomorrow is the kickoff of my year. On the 6th, this first introduction to 2025 was not great. So we are gonna give this diva another shot tomorrow. And again, I was gonna fly back to London tomorrow. If I'm moving out of my Brighton apartment in February, so I need to go back to Brighton soon. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home because there is a lot of things going on. And I just, if I'm being completely honest, would love to be doing anything other than that. I just would love to, at least for right now, not be surrounded by the reality in which is currently my life. And if that's called running away, well, it absolutely is. So I just don't want to be doing an international flight tomorrow. While the funeral is happening, because I'm going to be watching the funeral on a live stream, because apparently funerals are live streamed now. And so I would literally just be watching it on a flight home. And that sounds incredibly depressing. And so I was told my mom, I was like, I think I'm going to extend New York for another week. And then I was talking to her about it. And we were like, why would I extend New York another week when I've literally been in New York for like 4 weeks at this stage? Because I was here for 2 weeks in December, and I was here for another week and a half. So I was like, that's a good point. So I started reaching out to people in LA to like meet up, film with, and stuff like that. And people started responding. I met up with Jake Weddle a couple days in the city. He's such a sweetheart. We had a good night. But anyways, people started responding to me and being like, yes, we'll film and stuff like that. And if they do or don't happen, it doesn't matter. But anyways, truth being told, we're going to LA tomorrow. And I'm just gonna get rid of my flight to London. We're gonna go to LA, and for right now, I've just booked a week trip because I do need to get back to kind of move out of Brighton soon. But I'm really, really, really excited to go to LA. I haven't been there since my birthday when I went with my friend Neve, and it's gonna be really, really, really fun. I know for sure that I'm filming with 2 people. The list will hopefully grow, but if not, I'll just be having a nice little time in LA. It was either staying on in New York a little bit longer or going to LA because I am not flying home on the day of my granny's funeral when all of my family are going to be in shambles and I have to watch it on a fucking live stream. So, anyways, it has been a very interesting start to the year. I am hopeful, maybe a little bit delusional, that things will look up. Life is life. I'm so grateful that I have gotten to 22. Am I 22? Yeah. That I got to 22 and I'm now dealing with my first loss in the family, really, that has impacted me. And while I'm so devastated for my dad, you know, he got to being in his 50s with both of his parents, and I think that's so beautiful. And obviously you wish you could have them forever, but that's just not realistic. So yeah, that's the update. I'm excited for LA. I'm gonna go now and get some coffee and then come back to the hotel and probably film for a little bit and just kind of unwind for the night and prepare for a little bit of a travel day tomorrow. What's so funny is New York to LA is the flight that I did going to New York for the first time. Whenever I went to LA for the first time in America for the first time in 2021, I took a flight from LA to New York right before I went home to see New York for the first time. So this is kind of that in reverse, which is fun. But anyways, I'm gonna love and leave y'all. I wanted to make some sort of video being like, what the hell is going on? Before I like jump back into videos. I apologize for it. Life will be life. Hello, I just went blah, 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 blah. Life will be life. I know everything will be okay, and I know that people have it worse than me, and you know, while that doesn't take away from what I'm going, it can kind of put things into perspective. But yeah, I'm just saying that if you're out there and you haven't had the intro to the year that you've wanted to, bitch, let's start tomorrow. Let's start tomorrow. Monday fresh. Let's start tomorrow. All right. I appreciate you all being here. Again, I apologize for the delay. But I am now back. And bitch, we need to fuck up this year. We need to fuck up this year. We may have had a little bit of a setback, but that doesn't mean that we can't just dive back in. I'm going to love and leave you all. Happy New Year. I hope you're all doing very well, and I'll see you very soon with new videos, and goodbye.